Coming to you from Grand Rounds Brewing Company and Restaurant, our town.
Sun is up, waking early. Your voice echoes inside my head.
It has been a year, 12 months, $12 million, a major investment in the Rochester International Airport brings John Reed to our town today to give us a little status report. Welcome, sir.
Well, thanks for having us. Excited about being here.
And exciting news above and beyond the project that you've got, which we're going to talk about. Great. Another airline coming to town.
Excited. We're United Airlines enters the market early June. Excited to have them here.
And that's we hope if you offer it, they will come, or was the pent-up demand there already?
I think there's already a tremendous pent-up demand here in this community for additional air service. United brings the last and third major airline to our community with 3 daily flights to Chicago. We believe they're going to be very successful.
Yeah, we just personally, the family just used the Rochester Airport coming from Michigan, and that was great. You know, it came right in. A lot less hassles, as you say, than going through the cities.
Thanks for flying local. We're out in the community right now talking about fly local with major employers. We just added our 72nd fly local company to what's going on at the airport. Mayo Clinic just came on board with a fly local policy for its employees. We think all those companies combined add to that demand that's here.
Okay, adds the traffic, more people. And I also noticed when we were there, you can see your construction project, little guys with hard hats running around and stuff taking place. How's that going?
Actually, construction is well underway. We're about 3 weeks into what we're doing. You're seeing some improvements to some of the base utilities right now outside. We're making improvements to the location where United Airlines will house its staff, as well as their ticket counter areas. So that's about a 12-month process that we're going to work our way through, and a $12 million investment by this community, the state of Minnesota, and the Federal Aviation Administration.
And we're hoping some of that funding you have in hand, I believe, federal, but not the state part
yet.
Yeah,
the project's moved forward, and you know, the deep history behind that is this was a truly critical project. The city of Rochester bridged that gap. We're hoping for some positive movement in the transportation bill, which does include funding for this terminal project.
Yep, and what, another year, 12 months or more? How long will this project go on?
It's a 12-month process that we're moving through. We'd expect to be, close to completion about this time next year. So, May, June of 2018, we hope to have a ribbon cutting.
And from our standpoint, from a consumer standpoint, as I understand it, as you go in now, you have baggage on either right or left, and that'll be more consolidated in the same location?
Yeah, if you look at it from a 10,000-foot view, we're doing some pretty basic things to this terminal. Number one is improving some of the utility applications in the building, some of the basic life safety things. So anytime you open up a building, you've got to bring it up to code. So we're adding sprinkling the entire building. We are consolidating our baggage claim as well as our airline ticket counters on either end, so that you don't have to go to 2 different places to look for baggage. We're also bringing our TSA checkpoint up to standards. We're going to widen that, improve that for our customers coming in and out. In addition, we're adding more restrooms to our lower level, which was sorely needed, and we're looking forward to a lot of those real basic things coming together, in addition to everything that we're doing for U.S. Customs.
And you're a different client, really, than the airlines. We blend you all together for people who don't do what you do. We think of you as kind of an extension of the airline, but you have a different role in the community and the region than the actual airlines do.
Exactly. So if you really look at the relationship between the airport and those that run that and the airlines, it's more of a tenant landlord type relationship, but we kind of do view ourselves a little bit differently. We like to be out in the community. We're out there talking about what is going on at the airport in the community and the vital importance of the airport as a transportation link for the community as a whole.
And trying to generate interest. Even the rap sometimes is it's more expensive to fly out of a smaller airport than a major hub.
Well, you know, we'd ask you to take a look, and I think some people have drifted away from taking a look. I'll tell you that a lot of times it's just as inexpensive or sometimes less. And if you actually add your transportation cost of driving to MSP as well as the parking that comes with that, I think you'll find we're extremely competitive, and I think we offer a better environment. Easy in, easy out.
It is that. I can vouch for that. John Reed, thank you very much for joining us and giving us an update on your project.
Thanks for having us here, and we appreciate the time.
Our Town is brought to you in part by the following amazing people and organizations.
The new Clements Subaru proudly partners with award-winning KSMQ Public Television. Clements Subaru of Rochester. Clements' clear value promise is to make buying a Subaru fast, fair, and simple. The Minnesota Arts and Cultural Heritage Fund and the citizens of Minnesota.
And the members of KSMQ Public Television. Thank you.
I'll have to think of someplace fun to fly soon. In the meantime, stay with us as we explore what's happening right here at home. Payal Patel visits the Meditation Center to learn how to de-stress at the end of the day. Megan Moeller from the Rochester Public Works Department joins us to talk about the integrated transit studies. And we find out why Olmsted County no longer has a poor farm. Up first, we check out the Poetry Slam sponsored by the Rochester STEM Academy in this week's Our Culture segment.
I'm very excited. I can't stop moving. I'm trying so hard to just stay still. I love poetry slams. It's very, very fun.
They're nervous, they're excited, they're scared, so there's a lot of energy going on. I am Frank SENTWALI, COMPAS teaching artist. So this is the first annual Youth Springs Hope Poetry Slam, sponsored and put on by Rochester STEM Academy and the Rochester Civic Theater. And the idea is bringing youth together through spoken word poetry to bring communities together here in Rochester.
Sky cry. Why me? A question everyone tends to ask. Yes, I am just like you, a human being. It seems you think I walk around with a bully me mask. My poem that I'm doing alone is actually a bullying poem. It's a personal poem, it's a true story. I actually was bullied through elementary school and middle school, so I'm kind of giving them a piece of what made me, me. This generation is such a disgrace. You pick on little things such as race. You pick on broken people, but you really don't realize until guilt kisses you on the cheek and you see you're the reason that person dies. They can't see it, they don't even try. But I can feel it every blink of an eye when the clouds go gray and the sky begins to cry. Sky cry. My aunt that just recently passed, she told me how to let out my inner emotions that I can't explain out on paper. So pretty much poetry started back from when I was 10, I should say. It's when I started writing. And pretty much it's it can be like an anger relief, or it can be like my weeping way to get everything out.
Picture this. Society, a thrift store. Every person in the clothing with tags and labels, making others worth more and more worth less. Everybody has their label, but you chose to put yours onto yourself.
I am TIERA FELDER, and I do poetry now with the Boys and Girls Club on the Uprising Voices team. So the poem I'm performing, it does not currently have a name, I'm still trying to think of one, is about this girl that I've known for years at my elementary school who basically changed. She kind of changed her way into being the stereotype for women, and I had to watch from aside her just being that way, and how a lot of other girls at my school choose to do that too, for nothing else but for the other gender and for themselves.
You're allowing them to take over your mind. They don't care. They're playing with your emotions like puppets on a string. When did you become the stereotype of women? Do I choose to repeat what they say, or does it make me one of them? Maybe they're right. I apologize. I just miss you. I miss the you that nobody else sees anymore. Where did you go? That is all.
The youth are the future, and we need to make sure that they are collaborating in community. Regardless of what the past looks like, the focus is on making sure that the Muslim youth, the Catholic youth, the atheist youth, the Lutheran youth, all the youth have a voice and find their commonalities, and that's what the poetry does. When they write their poetry, all of a sudden, that stuff doesn't matter. It's the common human experience that as adults we forget, and it separates us. Well, the young people are finding their common human experiences through their literature and through their poetry and through their performance, and to me, that's what it's all about.
Our Town. It's all about you, Rochester. Send us a picture of your favorite feature of Rochester. Rochester at KSMQ.org.
Trying to distract myself, but then I see your face. Oh wait, that's someone else. Oh, trying to play it coy, trying to make it disappear. But just like the Battle of Troy, there's nothing subtle here. In my room there's a king-size space, bigger than it used to be. If you want, you can rent that place.
Ah, yes, a little poetry. I shall be telling this with a sigh. Somewhere ages and ages hence, two roads diverged in a wood, and I took the one less traveled by, and that has made all the difference. It was on the teleprompter. I didn't have that memorized, actually. A little Robert Frost for you as well, a little old poetry there. Congrats to those STEM students for their wonderful creativity. If you want to qualify for the Boston Marathon, like Therese Shoemaker, former Our Town guest that we've had here, or just have a little fun, the Med City Marathon weekend is coming up Saturday, May 27th and Sunday, May 28th. In addition to the marathon, there is a 5K run walk, a toddler trot, mascot race, and much more. Break out those sneakers and hit the street for some family fun. More information at medcitymarathon.com. Did you know that you can tour CC Heights? This beautiful campus is home to the Sisters of St. Francis, who were instrumental in establishing the first hospital in Rochester. Days vary, but tours usually begin at 2 p.m. Call Sister Alice at 507-282-7441 and reserve your spot. It's that time of year again when the talented folks in the Ski Docks water ski team hit Lake Zumbro to entertain us. This year's show theme is Ameriski's Got Talent. They perform every Wednesday night at 7 p.m. Check out special events on skidocks.com. Getting outside, it's really for the birds. No, really, the birds. Quarry Hill Park hosts bird walks every Saturday morning at 9. Bring binoculars and kids if you have either one of those. The walks, which last about an hour, are sponsored by the Zumbro Valley Audubon. Plus, it's no charge, it's free. More information about birding in our area is at zumbrovalley.audubon.org. Okay, stay with us as we learn how to relax in this week's walkabout.
Hi, my name is Val Patel. I'm here with another segment of Our Town Walkabout. Today we're here with Doug from Rochester Meditation Center. So Doug, tell me about the Meditation Center.
Well, we got started in 2004. We have probably 35 or 40 people who come regularly, but over the years there have been many hundreds of people who've come through. And people come here to learn how to meditate and also to get support from each other to keep on meditating once they learn how to meditate.
What is meditation?
So meditation is a really ancient practice to calm the mind, relax the body, and feel good about life. Taking care to notice the feelings of enjoyment, staying open to all physical sensations. We teach a couple of different forms here. One is when we sit in an upright, relaxed posture and do a formal meditation. That, of course, is silent. Opening awareness to everything that's happening, to the energy in the room. But we also teach another form of meditation, which we do from the moment we wake up until the moment we fall asleep. All day long we can meditate, including when we're having conversations with people.
And how long does it take to get the hang of meditation, to get the hang of these techniques?
I think a person could get the hang of it in 20 minutes. And then after that, it's a question of just continuing to do it.
I just thought a lot about relaxing myself and relaxing my body and my mind, and I thought a lot about my time in India and my time with my family and my time getting away from school, and it was a great way to end the day. And so this has been Paya Patel with another segment of Our Town Walkabout.
Stay with us for more Our Town. Megan Moeller is here to invite you to a transportation meeting.
Really, it's more interesting than it sounds. Stick around.
Our past, remembering what made us who we are today. Brought to you by the History Center of Olmsted County.
In 1864, the Minnesota legislature passed a law that made it mandatory for each county to provide a poor farm. In 1868, Olmsted County approved the purchase of 240 acres in Marion Township. When the soil proved less than productive, a new farm was purchased in 1874 in Rochester. By the mid-1890s, the poor farm's living conditions were part of an ongoing community discussion. Rochester citizen A.W. Blakely proclaimed the farm a disgrace and better fitted for the detention of criminals than a home for the county poor. A fire attributed to a defective chimney destroyed the farm's house in April 1896. Residents barely escaped. The county built a new house, which was 2.5 stories high, and was described in the local newspaper as a handsome structure, providing a comfortable home for the unfortunate poor. The poor farm eventually closed in 1943.
I don't have to feel ashamed. No more wasting breath or giving life away.
Transportation means more than cars today, more than planes, and Rochester is peering into the crystal ball to make plans for the transportation future.
And joining us to talk about the progress of the Integrated Transit Studies is Megan Moeller from the Rochester Public Works Department. Welcome.
Thanks for having me.
So are we going to be biking by 2025 here in Rochester?
Hopefully. You know, the key is to get fewer single occupancy vehicles coming into downtown, because with the projected growth of DMC, that would be a lot more vehicles. And there's some people that are going to need to do that drive, and that's fine, but it's about finding other options for people to get to downtown and around downtown.
So how do you plan for something like this when you don't know how many people and you don't know the modes really? How do you make room for bikes?
So the DMC plan outlined a vision for what transportation could look like in the DMC area 20-some years into the future. But that was really a high-level picture of what that could be. It wasn't vetted for what made sense for Rochester and the growth that's planning here. So these integrated transit studies are doing just that. They're looking into those details of trying to figure out models of what would parking look like with as many jobs that are predicted, of as growth is predicted, the housing that's going to be needed. How does that all fit into place so that educated decisions can be made about the transportation network that is put into place sooner rather than later?
No, that sounds great. And so currently you have 4 studies that are going on. Can you walk us a little bit through those studies? There's the transit circulation study, the city loop study, there's parking study, and a street use and operation study.
Absolutely. So there's different consultants that are doing this work, and they're all working together. It is very coordinated, but we have experts in each of those fields looking at each one. So the transit circulator is looking at how do we get people around downtown once they're here.
Okay.
And getting, whether that is the patients getting to, and employees getting to and from the different Mayo downtown campuses, whether it's employees that are getting into downtown for work, whether it's at the clinic or the government centers or any other facilities, and then just visitors and guests getting down to Rochester, park once, and move about. And that transit circulator is a way to help them do that. And the goal with that is to make it easy, convenient, safe
and get people where they need to go.
And then City Loop.
City Loop is a high amenity bike trail, pedestrian trail that will circle the downtown area and be a recreational trail, a transportation trail, and just a chance for people to get out and connect with nature if that's what they need, or get exercise if that's what they need. Trying to meet all those different needs with that trail, which will then facilitate people that perhaps want to bike downtown to get to work or across town for over their lunch break.
I'm really excited about this parking and transportation management study. Can you tell us a little
Nicole's
bit about that?
excited about parking, just in case you, it's very exciting.
I'm excited about not having to
There
park
you
all the
go,
time.
exactly.
So yeah, parking, it's a big deal, and it's an important issue to everybody that is in Rochester and is either working or visiting downtown, and we know that. So these parking studies are trying to figure out what are those parking needs going to be, and then how do we manage them? Is there a way to do it smartly where we don't have lots sitting vacant half of the time? How do we share that space? How do we encourage people, as I mentioned, to reduce those single occupancy vehicles coming downtown? And there's different ways of doing that, and these studies are looking at how to do that. Some different communities across the United States have done different transportation management authorities, where maybe there's incentives for carpooling, maybe there's free bus passes, maybe there's flexible work schedules so that people can start before that peak or end before that peak hour. So looking at those options and what employers might consider offering their employees as an incentive to reduce the number of single vehicles coming downtown.
What about those portable ramps that you see like in New York, like erector sets, they go way up?
They were looking at all sorts of different
okay.
things. I don't know if that was on the list though.
And then the fourth which is street use and operations
So
study.
that's looking at our current streets that we have here and what streets are maxed out. They can't handle any more traffic coming down them. What streets still have capacity? What would work well for bikes, whether it's protected lanes or dedicated lanes, pedestrians, are there places for more pedestrian-friendly streets? Just kind of looking at the opportunities that exist with what we currently have and what makes sense then going forward with this planning.
And you've been having a few public meetings to get the community involved and share that information. You had one earlier this year. Can you tell us a little bit about how that meeting went?
Yeah, so the first open house was in January, and we thank everybody that came out to that. It was a great turnout. And some of the big messages that were heard there were parking. No surprise there to anybody that is in and around downtown, and parking is a big deal. So parking concerns were heard. People were concerned about safety and access for pedestrians and bicycles. And then again, keeping it convenient, safe, easy, accessible, whether it's people with mobility issues, people pushing strollers, making it easy for people to use.
And what's next for participation by folks where they can come and talk to you?
Absolutely. On May 30th, we're having our second public open house. And all this time, these consultants have been working, and they've been started off with a big picture, lots of everything on the table, and they've been whittling it down to different scenarios. And on May 30th, we are going to have the consultants in to talk about the scenarios that they have come down to. So there are going to be 5 scenarios, and when we're talking about a scenario, it's a combination of things, of how do we move people in and around downtown, get people to downtown from remote and periphery parking spots, back and forth from the different Mayo campuses, and then again visitors around. So is it above grade, below grade, what routes are they going, what streets are they on, what are these different ways to connect people to high destination areas across downtown in different ways.
So that's, let's see, May 30th at 4, and where will that be held?
That is at the Mayo Civic Center. In one of the new, right at the bottom of the grand staircase in suites 102, 103. And so basically they'll have those scenarios on display and they'll have identified their 3 that they have identified as the ones that they're kind of liking, but they want the public to weigh in on those before they pass them along and go into further study on those 3 to find out what is the best option.
I mean, this is a huge undertaking, so do you have a timeline for when you'll complete this transit plan?
The transit studies are scheduled to be done at the end of December 2017, and what that means is here is our recommendation. And then from there, it has to be approved by various people, and then it's the planning, and that also takes time. We know people are anxious to see this stuff happening and see that progress, but with the magnitude of transportation and the impact that it has, it's really important that they get it right. So taking the time to do these studies and that research really is critical. So we'll have an idea at the end of December.
Real quick, on the big picture, it'll be city council. weighing in on that, or
Yeah,
not?
so
Or
there's- so if
that'll
the
be the
CO
final arbiter?
Yep, and then it will come with the blessing of, my understanding, it comes with the blessing of DMC and the county development. So it's really, there's lots of organizations that are working together on these. It very is much coordinated and integrated with other plans that are going on.
And after these public meetings or between these public meetings, is there other ways that people can get information out there in the community?
Absolutely. So if they can't make the public meeting on the 30th, they have this information on our website. And that will have all of the display boards that are there. There'll be ways to submit comments via survey online. We'll also have stuff on Facebook, do some Facebook Live during the event, doing little interviews with the consultants that are there.
Great.
And then all that will live on our website for review later on.
Excellent. Megan Moeller from the Rochester Public Works Department. Very informative.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you. Thanks for joining us today. Next week, enjoy a variety of music and entertainment specials on KSMQ as part of our Summer Pledge event.
We return Friday, June the 16th. Until then, see you next time on Our Town, the show about Rochester.